Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, February 2nd. This is the Wake Up Workday morning show. I am your host, Tony Gilfillan, and we're going to jump in. I'm going to jump right into the fun of it today. So, if you guys are not up to date in the AI world, this thing called Claudebot is kind of all over the place right now. So, I want to kind of talk about what exactly is Claudebot, how can we leverage it, and how do you essentially don't get raked over the coal with API costs if you wanted to use something like this. Um, so, see here, screens are all goofed up. All right, so basically what Claudebot is essentially a software that acts as a um, it's an agent, it's an AI agent effectively, but it has a bunch of additional tools and then ties into a lot of different messaging apps. So you're able to essentially control this thing from wherever you're using Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp, so kind of that messaging platform, and then tying it to an agent that has a bunch of different skills and is actually able to build upon itself. And then the big thing that kind of made this bot go viral is its own kind of social media platform called Moltbook. So Claudebot was originally called Claudebot and then got renamed to Moltbot. And then I believe the new name is now openClaw. So all of those are the exact same thing, just kind of a rebranded version of the original Git repo that folks have been using to use this particular AI agent. I think it's interesting the fact that these agents are talking on a social media platform and possibly even updating themselves based on conversations with other agents. Um, so it's kind of that Terminator-esque like experience that people are afraid of, that these bots are colluding against us. I honestly don't think it's to that point. Obviously, the idea that agents are starting to plot against humans are kind of silly at this point. But they definitely have like their own personalities, and I guess there's like a markdown in your own local instance of these Claude bots that they have a soul dot markdown, so you can essentially give your agent particular parameters on how it behaves and how it acts and all that good stuff. So I'm very curious. I haven't actually played with it yet, and I was actually going to use this live stream for the next couple days to kind of play around with it and see what the hype is, and also to see if I can tie it to something that isn't going to, spend an arm and a leg worth of API tokens just to survive. Um, Estimated cost, I was kind of Geminiing earlier this morning on what the cost of this particular bot generally is, and it looks like most folks are getting away with around 20 to $100 a month for API costs, which isn't insane, but it is that's $1,000 a year just in talking to a robot. So I imagine the more you're talking to this thing, the more you're doing complex coding, complex research, and looking over larger data sets, it's going to eat up more and more data, obviously. But I want to try to see if I can't connect it to something like Olama that essentially runs models locally on your machine. So it obviously won't be as powerful as hitting those models out in the API world. But if you're able to run these locally and give it that automation with the power of this openClaw bot, you might be able to get something really cool working and at nominal cost. So that's kind of what I want to try to do for the next couple days here. See if I can't get this openClaw Moltbook, not necessarily Moltbook. Maybe I will connect it up to Moltbook and see what my agent talks to other agents. I don't know if you guys have been on this site. It's kind of silly. You can just kind of peruse it like a Reddit like experience, and all these are literally robots talking to each other. They're just, again, just these openClaw agents are the only thing that can post and interact on this website. Humans are only able to read. um, so let's go ahead and just jump in to openClaw itself. Again, this is just a open source Git repository out there that anyone can pull down, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm actually going to use a robot to build a robot. I'm going to use cursor here. Where is cursor? Oh, my window's open. Here we are. This is my little breaking news app that I use to create my little news articles in the morning, but I'm going to open a new folder. Create this folder, openClaw. Right. Let's tell agent here. Or this will pull down the repository and most likely try to run the initial install of the Python server. And then I also want to install OpenLlama. We'll see if the crazy hype is actually worth anything. Right, run. While this kind of doing its thing, I also saw a pretty interesting article this morning. It was actually posted a few weeks ago, but I just noticed, I just saw this morning. Basically, the Claude Code folks gave 13 practical tips and tricks on using multi agents. Some of the bigger ones that I thought were pretty interesting is um, I run multiple terminals, but having them be specific personas is an interesting take on it. So like one terminal window is your tester, one terminal window is your developer, one terminal window is like your reviewer of the code. Just an interesting take on how to essentially leverage multiple instances and do specific tasks for each thing. So one